Have you ever felt like your life makes no sense, like you've been fighting battles no one else can see? Chosen one, this message is not random. You were led here, and deep inside, you already feel it. Something about you has always been different. You tried to blend in, but you never truly fit. You smiled in public while your spirit cried in silence. You lost people you thought would stay forever. You faced storms that should have broken you, but somehow you are still standing. Listen carefully, because this is urgent. Heaven has been watching every tear you tried to hide. God has seen every night you questioned your worth, every moment you felt forgotten, every silent prayer whispered through pain. You think you are lost, but you are being positioned. You think you are weak, but you are being prepared. There is something inside you that darkness has been trying to destroy, because your spirit carries a purpose greater than you can imagine. Chosen one, you remember the moments they walked away from you. You remember the doors that closed without explanation. You remember how it felt to stand there confused, wounded, asking yourself what you did wrong. You thought their rejection meant you were not enough. You believed their silence was proof that you were unworthy. But listen closely now, because you have misunderstood the story that was being written over your life. I did not abandon you. I redirected you. There were rooms you begged to stay in that would have slowly destroyed your spirit. There were people you cried to hold on to who were never assigned to walk with you into your destiny. You saw loss, but I saw protection. You felt humiliation, but I was preserving your identity. What felt like heartbreak was actually a divine interruption. I was stepping in before their influence could dilute the calling I placed inside you. You wondered why you were always the one left behind, why friendships faded, why relationships collapsed, why support disappeared when you needed it the most. It felt personal, it felt painful, and yes, it was painful. I saw every tear you hid from the world. I heard every question you whispered when no one else was around. But what you thought was rejection was actually separation for elevation. You carry something rare, something sacred, something that cannot grow in crowded, toxic spaces. The purpose inside you requires clarity, it requires strength. It requires a heart that depends on me, not on human approval. If they had stayed, you might have settled. If they had accepted you, you might have shrunk yourself to fit environments that were too small for your destiny. I allowed certain exits in your life because they were blocking your entrance into something greater. You saw doors slam shut, but you could not see the paths I was clearing ahead of you. Every goodbye you never wanted was guiding you toward people who will recognize your spirit, not compete with it. Every moment of loneliness was teaching you how to hear my voice without distraction. Chosen one, you were never being pushed away, you were being pulled forward. The pain of rejection carved depth into your soul. It built resilience into your character. It taught you to stand when applause disappeared. And one day, you will look back and realize that the very moments that nearly broke you were the moments that positioned you. You are not unwanted. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are redirected. The places you cried over were not your final destination. The people who left were not part of your final chapter. I am leading you somewhere that matches the weight of your calling, somewhere your spirit will not need to beg for acceptance, somewhere your purpose will breathe freely. So release the grief you have been carrying. Release the need to understand why they left. Trust that I remove what cannot remain where I am taking you. You are still chosen, and every rejection was simply my hand guiding you closer to the life I designed for you before you even knew your name. Chosen one, you have asked yourself many times, why has life been so hard for me? You compared your journey to others and wondered why your path seemed filled with resistance, betrayal, confusion, and battles that never made sense. You thought it was bad luck. You thought it was your fault. You thought maybe you were simply too broken to live a peaceful life. But listen carefully now, because there is a truth your pain has been hiding from you. The battles you faced were never random. They were targeted. Long before you understood who you were becoming, the weight of your destiny was already known in the spiritual realm. The strength inside your spirit, the influence your life will carry, the healing your voice will release, all of it threatened forces that hoped you would quit before you ever discovered your purpose. You thought you were just going through struggles, but you were standing in a war over your future. You noticed how opposition appeared the moment you tried to grow. When you tried to love, betrayal found you. When you tried to trust, disappointment followed. When you tried to step forward, something unexpected tried to pull you backward. You felt exhausted, confused, sometimes even questioning your worth and your faith. You wondered why your heart seemed to attract storms instead of peace. But I never left you inside those battles. Every attack you survived was proof that something valuable lives inside you. Darkness does not waste energy attacking what holds no threat. The pressure you felt was not meant to destroy you. It was trying to distract you from discovering your authority. The enemy of your destiny hoped that pain would convince you that you were powerless. But each time you stood back up, even while bleeding emotionally, you revealed a strength that could not be erased. There were nights when you felt surrounded by silence, when your mind was filled with fear and doubt, when it felt like everything was collapsing at once. You thought you were losing control, but those were the moments I was strengthening parts of your spirit that comfort could never build. I was teaching you endurance. I was shaping your discernment. I was building courage inside you that only survives through fire. Chosen one, you were never being punished, you were being trained. Your destiny carries impact. Your story will reach hearts that feel invisible. Your survival will become proof that pain does not have the final word. The battles you walked through gave you wisdom, compassion, and spiritual awareness that cannot be taught in easy seasons. You learned how to recognize deception. You learned how to stand alone. You learned how to keep moving forward when everything inside you wanted to collapse. You thought those battles were signs that you were losing, but they were signs that your destiny was dangerous to darkness. And look at you now, you are still here, still breathing, still searching, still holding on to hope, even when it feels fragile. That is not weakness. That is evidence of divine protection surrounding your life. The attacks you faced did not cancel your calling. They revealed it. So do not fear the scars you carry. They are reminders that you survived battles designed to erase you. I am turning every wound into wisdom, every tear into strength, and every attack into preparation for the moment you finally step fully into who you were created to be. Chosen one, there were seasons in your life that felt unbearably quiet. Seasons where the phone stopped ringing. Seasons where friendships faded without warning. Seasons where you walked into rooms full of people yet still felt completely alone. You wondered what was wrong with you. You questioned why connection seemed so temporary in your life. You asked why others found community so easily, while you kept finding yourself standing in silence. You believed your isolation was punishment, but it was preparation. There were assignments placed upon your life that could not be formed in noise. There were truths I needed to whisper into your spirit that you would never hear if your world had remained crowded. I separated you from distractions, not because you were unwanted, but because you were being called into something sacred. What you saw as loneliness was actually a training ground where your spirit was learning how to stand without depending on human validation. You remember those long nights when your thoughts felt louder than your surroundings. Nights when memories surfaced, when fears spoke, when doubts tried to convince you that you were forgotten. You searched for someone to understand you, someone to hold your pain, someone to fill the emptiness. But during those moments, I was drawing closer to you than you realized. I was teaching you how to recognize my presence in stillness. Chosen one, your assignment requires spiritual clarity. If I had allowed too many voices around you, they would have shaped your identity before you understood who you truly were. If I had allowed constant comfort, you might never have discovered the depth of strength living inside your spirit. Isolation forced you to face yourself. It forced you to confront your fears, your wounds, your questions, and your purpose. It was uncomfortable, but it was necessary. There were people who could walk with you in certain seasons, but they were never meant to walk with you into your calling. Your path requires courage that grows in solitude. It requires wisdom that is born from reflection. It requires a connection with me that is not dependent on applause, attention, or approval. I was building a foundation inside you that cannot be shaken by abandonment or rejection. You thought you were being hidden, but you were being prepared. In your isolation, you developed discernment. You learned how to sense truth from deception. You learned how to listen deeply. You learned how to survive emotional storms without losing your faith. The silence that once terrified you became the place where your spirit began to grow stronger roots. And one day you will understand why you had to walk certain roads alone. The sacred assignment attached to your life will require leadership, compassion, and spiritual authority that can only come from someone who has known solitude. You will speak to hearts that feel invisible because you have lived in that space. You will guide others through darkness because you have learned how to walk through it without losing your light. Chosen one, your isolation was never emptiness, it was construction. I was building endurance inside you. I was shaping your identity. I was preparing your heart to carry responsibilities that require spiritual maturity. You were not abandoned in those silent seasons. I was closer than your fears allowed you to see. You are not alone now. You were never alone then. And the sacred assignment waiting ahead of you will reveal that every quiet moment was leading you toward a purpose far greater than the loneliness you once feared. Chosen one, you have carried pain that words could never fully explain. Pain that settled deep into your heart, pain that followed you into quiet moments, pain that made you question why your life seemed heavier than others around you. There were times you smiled while silently breaking inside, times you stayed strong for everyone else while secretly wondering who would stay strong for you. You asked why you had to endure so much. You asked why your heart had to learn through suffering instead of ease. You asked why your journey seemed marked by wounds that never fully disappeared. But listen carefully now, because there is a sacred truth hidden inside the pain you carried. It was shaping your spiritual authority. Authority is not given to those who have never been tested. True authority is born in the fire of survival. Every tear you cried, every betrayal you endured, every moment you felt crushed under emotional weight, it was forming a strength inside your spirit that comfort could never create. The pain that tried to silence you was actually building a voice that will one day guide and heal others. You remember the moments when your heart felt shattered beyond repair. You remember feeling misunderstood, overlooked, and emotionally exhausted. You felt weak, vulnerable, exposed. But what you could not see was that your endurance was carving depth into your soul. It was teaching you compassion that cannot be learned through easy living. It was teaching you wisdom that only comes from walking through darkness and refusing to lose your light. Chosen one, your wounds became classrooms. Through heartbreak, you learned how to recognize broken hearts in others. Through betrayal, you learned how to value loyalty. Through suffering, you learned patience, humility, and emotional strength. The pain forced you to grow beyond surface-level understanding of life. It awakened your ability to see deeper, feel deeper, and stand stronger than you ever imagined possible. There were nights when you felt like the weight was too much to carry. Nights when your prayers felt heavy with exhaustion. Nights when you wondered if you would ever feel whole again. But those were the moments your spirit was being stretched, strengthened, and prepared. Authority is not loud, it is forged quietly in the places where survival feels uncertain. You thought pain was destroying you, but it was training you to stand in storms without collapsing one day. People will cross your path carrying the same wounds you once carried. They will feel lost, invisible, and hopeless, and your voice will reach them in ways you cannot yet imagine. Your story will carry power because it is not built on theory, it is built on survival. The authority you are receiving is the ability to stand in truth, to speak with compassion, and to guide others through battles you have already faced. Chosen one, your pain was never meaningless. It was molding you into someone who can carry responsibility, wisdom, and spiritual strength. It was teaching you how to remain standing when life tries to knock others down. It was preparing you to walk into rooms where your presence alone will bring comfort, clarity, and strength to those who are struggling. Do not be ashamed of the scars you carry. They are not signs of weakness, they are marks of survival and preparation. They prove that you endured seasons meant to break you, and you are still here. The pain you carried was not wasted. It was building a spiritual authority inside you that will one day change lives, including your own. Chosen one, there were moments in your life when you felt like trouble found you too easily. You tried to live peacefully, you tried to stay kind, you tried to walk with honesty in your heart. Yet somehow, conflict followed you, misunderstanding surrounded you, opposition rose against you when you were only trying to grow. You asked yourself, why does it feel like life keeps fighting me? You thought you were cursed with bad seasons. You thought you were attracting negativity. But listen closely, because the truth is far deeper than what you have believed. Darkness targeted you because your light threatens it. From the very beginning, there has been something different about your spirit. A sensitivity, a depth, a quiet strength that you yourself struggled to understand. You carry a presence that exposes deception, awakens truth, and brings hope into places where despair feels normal. And forces that survive in darkness cannot remain comfortable around light like yours. You noticed how some people reacted to you without reason, how jealousy appeared where you offered kindness, how tension formed when you simply tried to be yourself. You wondered what you did wrong, but your spirit was confronting shadows they were not ready to face. Your light revealed things others tried to hide, including wounds, insecurities, and spiritual resistance. Chosen one, light does not need to fight darkness to threaten it, it simply needs to exist. Chosen one, there were seasons when your life felt like it was falling apart piece by piece. Plans you believed in collapsed, relationships you trusted shattered. Dreams you held close slipped through your hands without warning. You stood in the middle of emotional ruins, trying to understand how everything you built with hope could break so completely. You asked, why would this be allowed to happen to me? You wondered if the breaking meant you were failing, or worse, forgotten. But listen closely now, because what felt like destruction was uncovering something hidden deep inside you. I allowed the breaking to reveal your true strength. There were parts of your spirit that comfort could never expose. There were levels of endurance, courage, and faith that could only rise when everything familiar was stripped away. You thought you were losing yourself in those broken moments, but you were actually meeting the version of yourself that had been buried beneath fear, approval, and expectation. You remember the nights when your heart felt too heavy to carry. Nights when you felt exhausted from pretending to be strong. Nights when tears fell in silence because you believed no one would understand the weight you were holding. You felt fragile. You felt defeated. You felt like you had reached the limit of what your soul could endure. But even in those moments, you did not disappear. You kept breathing when giving up felt easier. You kept standing when your foundation felt shattered. You kept searching for hope when darkness tried to convince you there was none left. That quiet survival was strength you did not yet recognize. True strength is not loud. It is built in the moments when your world collapses and you still choose to rise again. Chosen one, breaking removes illusions. It strips away false identities, unhealthy attachments, and fragile foundations that cannot support your destiny. There were versions of yourself that could not walk into the future I prepared for you. There were fears controlling your decisions. There were environments limiting your growth. The breaking was painful, but it was clearing space for the real strength inside you to emerge. You thought strength meant never falling apart, but real strength is revealed in rebuilding after collapse. It is discovered when you learn how to stand without leaning on what once defined you. The broken pieces of your past became tools that shaped resilience into your spirit. They taught you patience when life moved slowly. They taught you humility when pride tried to protect your wounds. They taught you faith when certainty disappeared. One day, you will look back at those broken seasons and realize they introduced you to your true identity. You will see how much courage was born from your survival. You will understand that the strength you carry now is unshakable because it was formed in places where comfort could not reach. Chosen one, you were never being destroyed, you were being refined. The breaking did not remove your value. It revealed it. It exposed the depth of your endurance. It uncovered your ability to rise from pain stronger, wiser, and spiritually deeper than before. The strength growing inside you is not temporary. It is not fragile. It is built from survival, faith, and transformation. Do not fear the memory of what broke you. It was part of the process that uncovered the warrior within your spirit. And the strength you discovered through your brokenness will carry you into the destiny that was waiting for the moment you realized you are far stronger than you ever believed. Chosen one, I know you have been waiting. Waiting for doors to open, waiting for opportunities to arrive, waiting for your prayers to be answered, waiting for the life you dreamed about to finally show up. You have watched others move forward while you stood still, wondering if you were forgotten, wondering if the world had left you behind. You asked yourself, why is it taking so long? Why does it feel like my breakthrough keeps getting delayed? But hear me now, what you have called delays were never wasted time. They were seasons of hidden training. Every pause, every not yet. Every moment when it seemed like nothing was happening, I was shaping you. I was teaching you lessons that the world cannot provide. The waiting was not meant to frustrate you. It was meant to prepare you. It was meant to stretch you, refine you, and awaken the depth of resilience and wisdom inside you that your destiny requires. You remember the moments when impatience rose like fire inside you, when your spirit cried out for answers, for movement, for progress, when you questioned why others seemed to succeed so easily while your path felt tangled and slow. Those moments, they were training grounds. I was teaching you endurance. I was teaching you discernment. I was teaching you how to trust me completely even when the evidence seemed absent. Chosen one, the world moves quickly, but destiny moves with precision. Every season of waiting was a hidden classroom for the future I am preparing for you. I was teaching you humility so pride would not sabotage your purpose. I was teaching you courage so fear would not stop you when breakthrough arrives. I was teaching you patience so you would recognize the right moment instead of rushing into what is not meant for you. You were being prepared to handle something bigger than what you can see right now. Your heart, your mind, your spirit, all of it needed refinement. Every challenge you faced, every disappointment, every door that seemed closed, it was strengthening you in ways that will only make sense when your season of fruitfulness arrives. Imagine if you had been rushed into your purpose before your spirit was ready. You would have been vulnerable to failure. You would have lacked the endurance to hold on to the vision I placed in your heart. You would not have recognized the people, the timing, or the path that is perfectly aligned with who I created you to be. Chosen one, every delay carries a divine design. Every moment you thought you were stuck, I was working unseen in the depths of your spirit. I was equipping you with patience, wisdom, courage, and clarity. I was preparing you to walk into your destiny with authority and confidence, ready to fulfill the calling that was written for you before the foundation of the world. So do not despise the waiting. Do not measure your worth by the speed of progress. Your time has never been wasted. The delays were the hidden training that has built you into someone unstoppable. Your breakthrough is coming, and when it arrives, you will stand fully prepared, fully equipped, and fully ready to carry the weight of the purpose I have placed within you. You were never forgotten. You were being trained, and the life that waits for you is far greater than you have ever imagined. Chosen one, there were people you loved who drifted away. There were relationships you poured yourself into that ended without explanation. There were doors you thought were meant for you that slammed shut. You felt abandoned, you felt misunderstood. You wondered if the world had turned against you, or worse, if you had failed. You asked yourself, why do I keep losing what I care about most? Why does it feel like no one understands me? But listen closely, because there is a truth you have yet to see. You were not abandoned. You were separated because your calling cannot be contaminated. Your purpose is sacred. Your destiny is not ordinary. The assignment on your life is not meant to be influenced by fear, compromise, or the doubts of those who cannot see what I see in you. Some relationships, some environments, some connections, they are temporary. They were never meant to walk with you into the fullness of your calling. And when you allowed yourself to feel the sting of separation, your heart was being protected. I know the pain of isolation cut deep. I know the nights when you longed for companionship, validation, and understanding. I know the emptiness that made you question your worth. But all of it was necessary. Every goodbye, every loss, every door that closed too soon was a protective measure for a destiny that is far too valuable to be diluted. Chosen one, greatness cannot mingle with compromise. Light cannot fully shine when it is surrounded by shadows that dim its brilliance. I separated you so that the purity of your spirit would remain intact. I distanced you from people and situations that could have altered your path, weakened your faith, or slowed the manifestation of your purpose. You were being refined in ways you could not yet understand. There will be seasons when your calling feels lonely, when the weight of responsibility feels unbearable, when you question why you cannot seem to find the support you need. That is the refining process. I am shaping your character. I am protecting your vision. I am keeping your hands, your heart, and your mind aligned with the destiny that will one day change lives. Every voice that left, every friendship that faded, every door that closed, it was a divine act of preservation. You were not losing, you were being guarded. You were not being forgotten, you were being prepared. And the separation was not punishment, it was protection for something far greater than the comfort you once sought. Chosen one, your assignment is too precious for compromise, too powerful to be influenced by fear, and too sacred to be tainted by what is not meant for you. That is why you were set apart. That is why your path has felt different, even lonely at times. That is why every step forward requires faith beyond what you see. Do not fear the isolation. Do not resent the separation. Embrace it as part of the divine preparation for the life that awaits you. You were chosen. You were set apart. And your calling, your sacred, world-changing calling, cannot and will not be contaminated. The people, the places, and the opportunities that remain will honor the spirit I created in you. And when the time comes, you will walk into your destiny fully protected, fully aligned, and fully unstoppable. Chosen one, you have heard them. The voices that doubted you, the whispers that said you weren't enough, the laughter that questioned your dreams, the advice that tried to make you small. You felt their judgment like chains around your spirit. You wondered if you were failing. You questioned whether you had misunderstood your own calling. You thought maybe they were right, maybe your hope was misplaced. Maybe your faith was too big for reality. But listen carefully, the voices that doubted you could not silence heaven's plan. Every criticism, every mockery, every moment when someone told you, you can't, it was powerless against what I placed inside you. I have written your story from eternity, and no earthly voice can rewrite it. They do not control your path. They do not define your worth. They do not have the authority to touch the calling I have placed inside your spirit. You felt the sting of doubt. You felt the weight of disapproval. You felt like the world itself was against your progress. But every time you were tempted to believe the lies, I was speaking louder to your soul. Every time fear tried to convince you to stop, I was igniting courage in the hidden places of your heart. You survived their disbelief, and in surviving, your faith was strengthened. Chosen one, do not mistake doubt for truth. The voices around you were limited. They could see only what is visible to human eyes. They could understand only what the world has taught them to accept. But I operate beyond sight. I move beyond understanding. I am orchestrating every moment of your life. and my plans for you cannot be stopped by criticism, ridicule, or disbelief. What they question, I have already confirmed. What they reject, I have already approved. There were moments you felt small, unheard, unseen, moments when their words seemed louder than my promises. You carried pain and confusion because you did not realize how close you were to breakthrough. You let their doubt pierce your confidence because you did not yet know the power of my voice inside you. But even when you stumbled, even when you wavered, even when you felt like giving up, the plan continued. The plan never paused. The plan never faltered. Every no you heard was never a denial. It was simply a shadow passing over the light I placed within you. Every skeptical voice was nothing compared to the authority I have assigned to your spirit. You are not limited by the doubts of men. You are not constrained by the disbelief of others. You are designed to rise above every voice that tried to push you down. Chosen one, the truth is unshakable. Heaven's plan cannot be silenced. You will walk into your purpose with clarity and power. You will fulfill what others could not imagine. You will inspire, heal, and lead because the voices that doubted you have no power over destiny. What they called impossible, I have already made possible. What they ridiculed, I have already honored. And when you finally see the life waiting for you, you will understand that every doubt you endured only amplified the greatness that was always inside you. Do not fear them. Do not shrink before them. Their voices were never louder than my promise, and they never will be. Your calling is unstoppable. Your destiny is unstoppable. Your life is unstoppable. Chosen one, there were moments in your life when everything around you felt like it was collapsing at once. Storms came from directions you never expected. Situations spiraled beyond your control. You faced emotional chaos, broken relationships, unexpected losses, and battles that drained your spirit. There were nights when you wondered how much more you could endure. Nights when you felt like you were drowning in problems with no visible rescue. You asked yourself, how am I still standing? You thought it was luck. You thought it was coincidence. But listen carefully now, your survival through chaos is proof of divine protection. There were dangers you never saw. There were outcomes that could have destroyed you completely. There were moments when life shifted suddenly, and you never realized how close you were to losing everything. But my hand was present even when you could not feel it. My protection surrounded you in ways your human understanding could not recognize. You remember times when you felt overwhelmed by fear, when confusion clouded your mind, when pain filled your heart so deeply that you believed you would never recover. You felt alone inside storms that seemed endless. But despite the weight pressing against you, you survived. Despite the darkness surrounding your path, you kept moving forward. That was not your strength alone. That was grace holding you together when you were falling apart. Chosen one, chaos tried to erase you. It tried to steal your peace. It tried to break your faith. It tried to convince you that your life had no direction, no meaning, no purpose. But every time destruction came close, something invisible stood between you and total collapse. There were moments when situations shifted at the last second. Moments when unexpected help appeared. Moments when you found the strength to keep going when giving up felt easier. Those were not accidents. Those were signs that your life is being guarded. You thought survival was ordinary, but survival was miraculous. Many times you walked through emotional fires that should have burned your hope into ashes. Many times you stood in storms that should have shattered your identity. Yet here you are, still breathing, still searching, still holding on to purpose, even when it feels fragile. That is not weakness. That is evidence that you are protected for something greater. Every chaotic season was revealing something powerful. Your life carries value that cannot be easily destroyed. Your destiny holds weight that chaos could not cancel. The storms were never stronger than the protection placed over your spirit. And even when you felt abandoned, you were never outside the reach of my presence. Chosen one, your survival has meaning. One day, your story will become proof to someone else that survival is possible. You will speak to hearts that feel surrounded by chaos, and your journey will remind them that storms do not decide their ending. The pain you endured will transform into wisdom. The battles you survived will become testimonies of strength and divine preservation. Do not underestimate what you have lived through. Do not dismiss your survival as coincidence. Every breath you take today is evidence that you are still here for a reason. I preserved you through confusion, heartbreak, fear, and loss because your story is not finished. Your purpose is still unfolding. You were protected when you did not see it. You were carried when you did not feel it. And the same protection that brought you through chaos will guide you into the destiny that has been waiting for you all along. Chosen one, I know the nights you spent crying over what you lost. I know the emptiness that swallowed your heart when someone you loved walked away. I know the dreams that slipped through your fingers, leaving nothing but pain and questions behind. You wondered why the world took so much from you. You asked, why does it feel like everything I hold dear disappears? You felt broken, you felt abandoned. You felt the sting of loss pressing deep into your spirit. But listen carefully, because every loss you mourned was creating space for my greater purpose. The places in your life that emptied out, the relationships that ended, the doors that closed, they were not random. They were openings. Openings for me to pour blessings, opportunities, and divine assignments into your life that no human could have provided. What you saw as absence, what you felt as grief, was preparation. It was a clearing of the ground so that something far greater could grow in your life. I know it hurt. I know it was unfair. I know that sometimes you screamed in silence, begging for answers, wondering if you would ever feel whole again. But the losses were not punishments, they were divine rearrangements. They were acts of love. They were the invisible hands moving pieces around so that your destiny could take shape without interference from what was not meant to remain. Chosen one, the world measures loss as an ending. I measure it as a beginning. Every tear you cried cleared space in your heart. Every broken connection made room for relationships that will honor your spirit. Every dream you thought was gone cleared the way for the ones that are perfectly aligned with your calling. Your mourning was not wasted, it was fertile soil being prepared for growth you cannot yet imagine. You remember feeling abandoned when someone walked away. You remember the ache of watching dreams dissolve. You remember wondering if life would ever feel full again. But that emptiness was necessary. Without it, there would be no room for the fullness I am bringing. Without it, your heart would not be ready to carry the weight of your true purpose. Without it, the impact of your calling would have been diminished. Chosen one, what you mourned is being transformed into what you will celebrate. The losses you endured have given clarity. They have sharpened your vision. They have strengthened your faith. They have awakened patience and trust inside your spirit. One day you will look back and see that those very moments of heartbreak were essential for the life you are about to step into. They were creating space for joy, fulfillment, and divine assignments that align with your true destiny. Do not cling to the pain of what was lost. Do not regret the empty spaces. Embrace them as part of the design. Every absence, every heartbreak, every loss was intentional. Every one of them was a step toward a life more abundant than you could have ever imagined. Chosen one, your mourning was never in vain. It made room. It cleared the path. And the greater purpose I have for you is ready to fill the space that grief once occupied. Chosen one, I see the way the world has tried to tell you that your heart is too tender. I see the way people have labeled your emotions as weakness, your compassion as vulnerability, your awareness as overthinking. You have been criticized, misunderstood, and even rejected for feeling too deeply. There were moments when you tried to hide your sensitivity, thinking it would protect you. You thought if you hardened your heart, life would be easier, and people would take you seriously. But hear me now, your sensitivity is not a flaw, it is a spiritual gift. Yes, a gift. Your heart, so easily moved by the pain of others, is proof of a soul designed for purpose. The emotions you feel so intensely are the same emotions that will allow you to bring healing where others walk blindly. The awareness you cannot switch off, the empathy that overwhelms you at times, that is what will make you a light in darkness. While others are numb or distracted, your spirit is tuned to see what truly matters. Your sensitivity allows you to detect spiritual attacks, uncover hidden truths, and bring restoration in ways that practical strength alone could never accomplish. Chosen one, I know the nights you felt broken because you could not turn off what you felt. I know the times when criticism pierced deeper than it should have. I know the moments you questioned yourself, wishing you were harder, stronger, less emotional. But in truth, you were learning to navigate the divine language of your own spirit. You were learning how to discern my voice above all others. You were learning to embrace a gift that will shape the lives of those around you. Your sensitivity allows you to love when love seems impossible. It allows you to hope when hope has been silenced. It allows you to endure when others give up. And it will allow you to lead not by harshness, but by truth, compassion, and insight. It will allow you to see the unspoken battles people are facing and offer guidance that resonates with their hearts. That is power, that is influence. That is authority, the kind that does not dominate but transforms. Do not shrink from your emotions. Do not silence your heart to please the world. Do not let anyone convince you that empathy is weakness. Those tears you cried, the compassion you offered, the pain you felt, all of it has been shaping you into a person capable of touching lives at the deepest level. Chosen one, sensitivity is not an accident. It is a divine calibration. It allows you to see the unseen, to feel the spiritual currents around you, and to respond with wisdom that only comes from a heart fully alive to the truth of my presence. It will give you an edge in your destiny that others will never have. You are not too much. You are exactly enough. You are not finely tuned. You are not flawed. You are chosen. Your sensitivity is your strength. It is your gift. And one day, you will see that it is exactly what makes you unstoppable in fulfilling the purpose I created you to walk into. Chosen one, I see the weight you have been carrying. I see the pressure pressing against your mind, your heart, and your spirit. Some days it feels like you can barely breathe beneath the expectations, the struggles, the uncertainty, and the silent battles no one else understands. You have asked yourself why life feels so intense, why peace feels temporary, why it seems like the moment you try to rest, another challenge appears. You wondered if the pressure meant you were breaking. But listen carefully, the pressure you feel is pushing you toward your breakthrough. Pressure is not always destruction. Sometimes pressure is transformation. The same force that feels like it is crushing you is also shaping you, strengthening you, and preparing you to carry the weight of the destiny placed upon your life. There are levels of purpose, influence, and responsibility waiting for you that your current version could not hold without growth. The pressure is stretching your capacity. You remember the moments when everything seemed to demand more from you than you believed you could give. Moments when your responsibilities felt overwhelming. Moments when emotional stress, financial struggles, relationship challenges, and internal battles all collided at once. You felt trapped between exhaustion and survival. You questioned whether you were strong enough to keep moving forward. But chosen one, diamonds are formed under pressure. Strength is revealed under resistance. Breakthrough is often born in the exact place where surrender feels easiest. You thought the pressure was proof that you were failing, but it was actually proof that you are being expanded. I am building endurance inside you. I am strengthening your decision-making. I am sharpening your discernment. I am teaching you how to stand steady when life becomes unstable. Every moment you push forward despite feeling overwhelmed is increasing your spiritual authority. There were times when you felt like you were carrying more than anyone else around you. You wondered why your path seemed heavier, why your challenges seemed deeper. But what you carry reflects what you are being prepared to release into the world. Your breakthrough is not small, and preparation for something great often comes with intense refinement. Chosen one, pressure exposes what is inside you. It reveals hidden fears that must be confronted. It reveals hidden strength that must be awakened. It reveals faith that must grow beyond comfort. You are being molded into someone who can stand firm when blessings arrive, someone who will not collapse under success, someone who can lead, guide, and inspire others because you have learned how to survive intense seasons. You are closer to breakthrough than your fear wants you to believe. The tension you feel is often strongest just before transformation happens. The weight you are carrying is building momentum. The struggle is creating clarity. And the resistance you face is sharpening your spirit for the moment your path opens in ways you cannot yet see. Do not run from the pressure. Do not let it convince you that you are weak. Stand in it. Breathe through it. Grow through it. Because what feels like it is crushing you is actually pushing you forward. Chosen one, your breakthrough is not behind you. It is forming right in the middle of this pressure. And when it arrives, you will understand that every heavy moment was building the strength, wisdom, and courage you needed to step fully into the destiny waiting for you. Chosen one, there have been days when you felt completely alone. Days when the world seemed to be closing in on you from every side. Days when betrayal cut deep, when injustice seemed to follow your every step, when doors slammed shut before you even knew they were open. You have questioned why life has felt so hard. You have asked, why do I have to fight every battle alone? You have felt the weight of opposition, the sting of disappointment, and the loneliness of struggle pressing against your spirit. But hear me now, I have been fighting battles for you that you never saw. Every moment you felt attacked, I was standing in the gap. Every time darkness tried to overwhelm your path, I was turning it aside. Every time people plotted, planned, or spoke against you, I was shielding your life from outcomes you could not bear. The wars you thought you were losing were never yours to fight alone. I have been working in ways invisible to your eyes, moving pieces behind the scenes, protecting the assignment I placed inside you before the foundation of the world. You remember moments when life seemed unfair, moments when hope felt fragile, moments when betrayal or misunderstanding crushed your spirit. You carried pain that no one else could see. You carried fears that threatened to make you doubt yourself. And you questioned whether anyone cared, whether anyone was watching, whether anyone would intervene. Chosen one, I was always there. You could not see my hand, but it was there, turning what appeared to be chaos into preparation. You could not see my presence, but it was there, guiding you through unseen doors and away from hidden dangers. You could not feel my power, but it was there, quietly dismantling attacks before they reached you. The storms that seemed too heavy to bear were never allowed to destroy your destiny, because I was holding them back, fighting battles you could not yet win on your own. Every struggle you survived was proof of unseen warfare being fought on your behalf. Every victory, every breath, every opportunity that slipped past harm, it was a sign that my protection is relentless. Every tear you shed, every sleepless night was never wasted. It was part of the preparation for the greatness I am bringing into your life. Chosen one, do not doubt your journey. Do not resent your struggles. They are evidence of my presence, my care, and my divine intervention. What you see as obstacles, I see as spiritual battles already won. What you feel as pain, I see as protection. What you fear as defeat, I see as triumph being secured behind the scenes. You may never fully understand how much I have fought for you. You may never know the doors I closed, the dangers I removed, the plans I overturned to protect your destiny. But trust this, every battle has been for you. Every struggle has been for your growth. Every attack has been for your preparation. Stand now with confidence, chosen one. Stand with courage. Stand knowing that the unseen battles have paved the way for your breakthrough. I have been fighting for you, and what I am bringing into your life cannot be stopped by anything the world sends against you. You are protected, chosen, and unstoppable. Chosen one, there have been moments when your life felt like a collection of mistakes, pain, and unanswered questions. Moments when you wondered if your story even mattered. Moments when the weight of disappointment, rejection, and struggle convinced you that your journey had no purpose.
You ask, why me?
Why does it feel like I keep failing while others succeed? You feared that your life was nothing more than a series of broken chapters with no conclusion, no significance, no hope. But hear me now, your story is being written as a testimony of divine destiny. Every hardship you endured, every tear you shed, every season of waiting, every rejection that shook your spirit, all of it is part of the design. Your story is not random. It is not a collection of accidents. It is intentional. It is sacred. Each chapter, even the ones you wish you could erase, is being woven together with purpose. What you endured in silence, what you survived when no one was watching, it is shaping a testimony that will inspire, heal, and awaken others. You have been tempted to hide your life, to shrink your potential, to believe that your struggles define you. But chosen one, the very struggles you thought would break you are the same ones that will make your story unforgettable. The pain, the trials, the opposition, they are not the end of your narrative. They are the beginning of a legacy. I have been orchestrating every scene, every twist, every setback with divine precision. The moments you felt abandoned, I was preparing your heart. The nights you cried in silence, I was strengthening your spirit. The losses you mourned, I was clearing space for blessings that will make your life unrecognizable to the old you. What you see as delay, I see as alignment. What you see as failure, I see as preparation. What you see as brokenness, I see as refinement. Chosen one, your testimony will speak louder than any voice that tried to diminish you. Your story will shine light into the darkness where others have lost hope. Your journey will remind people that survival, endurance, and faith are never in vain. Every challenge, every battle, every tear was being recorded, not for despair, but for destiny. One day, the chapters you once wished you could rewrite will be the chapters that inspire generations. The moments that made you question yourself will be the moments that confirm your purpose. The struggles you endured will be the same struggles that give you authority to speak truth, offer guidance, and lead others through their storms. Do not rush the process. Do not despise the seasons that feel heavy. Do not let doubt convince you that your life is ordinary. Your story is extraordinary. Your story is powerful. Your story carries a message that only you could deliver because of what you have lived. Chosen one, every setback, every trial, every silent struggle is being transformed into a testimony of divine destiny. The world may not yet understand your journey, but the moment your story unfolds, it will speak for itself. You are chosen. You are prepared. You are destined. And your life, written by my hand, will stand as proof that what comes from me cannot be stopped, cannot be erased, and cannot be ignored. Your story is a testament. Your story is a legacy. Your story is destiny. Chosen one, do you feel it yet? That ache in your chest, that restless longing in your soul, it was never meaningless. Every tear you've cried, every moment you felt crushed, every door that closed in your face, it has been shaping you, preparing you, awakening something inside you that you never knew could rise. You thought the pain was punishment. You thought the struggle meant you were too broken, too weak, too unworthy. But listen, it was preparation. I have been refining your spirit in ways you cannot see. While the world thought you were alone, I was your unseen protector. Every setback was a shield, every trial was a forge, every lonely night was a rehearsal for the moment your destiny would activate. The storms that tried to drown you, they were the winds that will carry you into a purpose so big, so necessary, that only your survival could hold it. Do you see it now? The pain was never wasted. The fear you endured, the heartbreak, the doubts, they were all part of a divine blueprint building endurance, strength, and vision inside you. You are being positioned, you are being prepared. And the very things that tried to break you are the things that will awaken your authority, ignite your influence, and unleash your calling. Chosen one, rise in your understanding. Your pain has a purpose. Your suffering is not a curse, it is your launch pad. And when you finally step into what I have prepared for you, you will look back and realize that every tear, every struggle, every moment of seeming despair was the silent work of heaven crafting a life only you could carry. You were never abandoned. You were never forgotten. You were being made ready for something greater than you could ever imagine. Your destiny is awakening, and the pain that once weighed you down will be the power that propels you forward. Chosen one, lift your head and hear me now. You are not forgotten, you are not abandoned, and you are far stronger than you realize. Every trial you endured, every tear you shed, every moment you felt broken, I was with you. I never left, I never will. What tried to destroy you only refined you. What tried to hold you down only prepared you to rise higher than you ever imagined. Stand now in the fullness of your calling. The battles are behind you, the storms are passing, and your breakthrough is breaking through. Your destiny is not a dream, it is your reality waiting to be claimed. Step forward with courage, step forward with faith, step forward knowing that every piece of your journey was designed to bring you to this very moment. Rise, chosen one, your purpose is unstoppable, your life is divine, your time is now. There were moments when attacks came suddenly, emotional battles that felt overwhelming, situations that drained your energy, tested your patience, and tried to break your confidence. You felt surrounded by negativity and wondered why peace felt so temporary in your life. You questioned your worth. You questioned your strength. You even questioned your purpose. But what you experienced was not random chaos. It was resistance against the impact your life will carry. Darkness hoped that discouragement would convince you to dim your light. It hoped rejection would silence your voice. It hoped pain would make you hide your compassion and your truth. It tried to overwhelm you before you discovered how powerful your spirit truly is. But every attack you survived proved something important: your light cannot be easily extinguished. You stood through storms that should have buried your hope. You kept showing kindness when bitterness tried to harden your heart. You kept searching for meaning when confusion surrounded your path. That is not weakness, that is evidence of divine strength burning inside you. Chosen one, your destiny involves illumination. You will walk into places filled with emotional darkness, and your presence will bring clarity. You will encounter people drowning in silent pain, and your story will remind them that survival is possible. You will speak words that break chains of fear, shame, and hopelessness. Your light is not just for you, it is meant to guide others who feel lost in shadows. Do not resent the battles you faced. They revealed the brightness of your spirit. They trained you to protect your peace, to guard your energy, and to stand firm when negativity tries to surround you. Darkness only fights what threatens its control, and your life carries a threat to everything built on fear and despair. So stop doubting your importance. Stop shrinking to make others comfortable. Stop believing that your sensitivity or your compassion makes you weak. Those qualities are part of your light, and your light was never meant to be hidden. You were targeted because you shine, and no matter how many storms tried to cover it, your light is still burning, still growing, and still destined to change lives.